everybody. It's Stewart Swerdlow.
And Janet Swerdlow.
And this is our Expansions News Podcast for the middle of March 2016.
It's almost spring.
Almost, but guess what?
What?
It's supposed to snow next week.
Yeah, and daylight savings time.
Why do they have daylight savings time?
They want to mess with our heads.
That is really stupid because, in fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Even though it's not one of the stories I have, the Michigan legislature is proposing to eliminate
Good for them.
daylight savings time from our state.
Good.
Because they said it causes car accidents, something else, and crankiness, which explains myself.
That's it.
Basically.
Well, the thing is, it goes against your circadian rhythm.
Yeah, I don't have circadian. I have another brand.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But since we're talking about weird things, I have a weird story to tell you. But it's not really weird because it comes from NASA.
I thought maybe you were going to talk about you if it was a weird story.
Well, that's usually what you talk about.
Yeah.
And I actually, oh my God, I saw a word in your notes, which now I know what you're going to be talking about. And I was like, oh no, not again. But I guess they'll find out in a little bit. Well, on January 20th, 2016, there were two researchers from Caltech, Konstantin Batygin and Michael Brown, who said they found evidence that hints at the existence of a massive planet at the edge of our solar system.
We've reported on that.
Yes, but it gets more interesting because they said based on their modeling, blah, 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 simulations, it's a super Earth, 2 to 4 times the size of Earth, and 10 times as massive, which I don't understand. If it's 2 to 4 times as big, how is it 10 times massive? But anyway. And they said it would take 10,000 to 20,000 years to orbit the sun. So that's a long year.
A very
long time. They're calling it Planet 9.
I think I reported on that one.
No, but guess, you know where it is?
Where?
In the Kuiper Belt.
Oh yeah, I reported on that one.
Yes, but this is they just discovered January 20th.
Yeah,
so.
but see, that was 2 months ago. So I reported on that.
Yeah, but there's more information.
Go ahead.
Because they said for some time now, it's been understood that there are a few known Kuiper Belt objects whose dynamics are different than those of other belt objects. Now, where have you heard that before?
Geez, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that video that's going viral on YouTube that you gave.
Maybe so. And they're calling it a scattered disk population of the Kuiper Belt that has unusually closely spaced orbits. Like maybe they're not objects but vehicles.
Maybe.
Like I've told you.
That's new news.
Yes.
I mean, new to people from conventional news, not new to
and
our
when they
people.
announced this back in January, they indicated the objects appear to be highly clustered with respect to their perihelion positions. So and they said that's very odd. I've told you this for years, people.
Yep, Kuiper Belt's coming in more and more in the news.
Yeah, so basically, they're calling it Planet 9. But I've also mentioned in our seminar a couple of years ago and recently that there have been alien groups who have told people that there are 13 planets in our solar system that go way far beyond what we already know. But the thing is, how do you count? Because planet number 9 really is not number 9, but are they counting Pluto as a planet? Because Pluto is not a natural object. And also this little planet Sedna, which is beyond Pluto, is also not natural. So are they counting the unnatural ones or just natural ones? We don't know.
We don't know because they always change their mind.
Yeah, but what you will notice is that very recently, in the last month or so, the Kuiper Belt has been in the news every week.
Yep.
Which I will continue with that because other things are in the news every week. Now let's go back to Earth for a little bit because the Arab League, you remember them, it's a baseball league, right? Arab League. They have declared the Lebanese movement Hezbollah as a terrorist group only days after the Gulf Cooperation Council adopted the same stance. Now this is very significant. Why? Because these are Arab Muslims and they are calling other Arabs terrorists. And that's very unusual for Arab countries to do. And this was done at an Arab League meeting in Cairo, the capital of Egypt. And almost all 22 Arab League members supported the decision, except for Lebanon and Iraq, duh. And Saudi Arabia is angry with Hezbollah since it had insulted the royal family. Yes, we shall not have it. You're a terrorist.
Be careful what you say over there about the royal family.
I will also tell you that Saudi Arabia and many of these Arab countries, both publicly and behind the scenes, have been getting closer to Israel. So this is part of an Israeli influence on all of this, because they are all afraid of ISIS and Iran. Iran is not an Arab country. It's Muslim, but it's not Arab. U.S., Canada, and Australia have also listed Hezbollah as a terrorist group, but the EU has only blacklisted the military arm of the. So that's interesting about the EU. So I will predict that we will soon see a new alliance between Israel and the Arab League against ISIS, Iran, and Syria.
Well, that's a way of uniting the world, right?
Yeah. Now, remember last week I mentioned about this satellite imagery that showed a huge release of methane gas from California, and they said there's a big earthquake,
Right.
Well, ever since then, almost every other day there's this news in mainstream media about California, and this one is warning about the San Andreas Fault again, and it says that it can trigger a powerful earthquake with other fault lines if they rupture simultaneously. But U.S. geologists discovered that the San Andreas and the San Jacinto faults may have ruptured together about 200 years ago, creating an earthquake that was felt from north of Los Angeles all the way to San Diego. Now, they said it's long overdue for an eruption. That's what they called it. Or maybe they're thinking about volcanoes.
Underground,
Yes,
that's possible.
Yes.
Underwater.
And they predict it will be the source of a powerful earthquake along California's coastal region. And they said this ominous future earthquake may be more catastrophic than initially thought.
Duh.
Yes. And it said that through rupture modeling, it's been discovered that the San Jacinto Fault is capable of rupturing along with the San Andreas Fault in a single earthquake. So it's like one triggers the other one. And it says here by the scientists is that if there's a joint rupture, it will create a larger earthquake, especially if it starts on the San Jacinto fault line. And they went back in history and they said on December 8th, 1812, a magnitude 7.5 quake, often called the San Juan Capistrano earthquake, was the result of both the San Andreas and San Jacinto faults rupturing at the same time. Now, it also says the double rupture scenario is one of the many geological possibilities that could affect the West Coast. So they're already saying there's more than this. Okay? And they said there's another fault line buried deep in the earth. Guess where? Your country. The Cascadia Subduction Zone, which runs from British Columbia's Vancouver Island down to California, Cape Mendocino, and can create an earthquake 30 times more dangerous than the San Andreas fault line.
Yeah, they say that that's the most dangerous place on earth to live, and I do have a story about that later on.
But my point being that they're now bringing this up every other day, which means they're telling you something.
Yeah, it's giving people a warning.
Now let's go to another rupture. Donald Trump.
I have a lot of Donald Trump stories too.
Do you?
I
hope
do.
it's not the same as mine.
I don't know.
But people by now must know that Donald Trump canceled a speech at the University of Chicago because of rioting and brawls between his supporters and protesters. But you know what Trump said? He said the violence was a planned attack, and he blamed the supporters of Democratic opponent Bernie Sanders. And he said, well, he didn't say, but the violence in Chicago came only hours after a black anti-Trump protester was beaten by a mob in an event in St. Louis, Missouri. Trump has been accused of encouraging his supporters to make Nazi-like hand. You ever see that they were like this? Hand signals, which he vehemently denies, saying people put their hands in the air at my events. There's nothing sinister about that, is there?
Well, I have a story about that one too.
Well, and then he says, this is very fun, this is very Trumpy. He said, my people are nice. They were taunted. They were harassed. A lot of those protesters represented Bernie, our communist friend. Well, Bernie wasn't happy about that.
I bet not.
And he called Donald Trump a pathological liar. And Bernie, so Trump he said, with Bernie, he should really get up and say to his people, stop, not me. Get your people in line, Bernie. You tell him, Trumpy.
Remember, it's Drumpf.
Well.
Jumpy.
And he also, it is Clinton and Sanders people who disrupted my rally in Chicago. And then they say, I must talk to my people. Phony politicians. But, now here's a very telling statement. Because Bernie Sanders said, obviously, while I appreciate that we had supporters at the Trump rally in Chicago, our campaign did not organize the protest. So he's saying he was glad that happened. That's very interesting, communist Bernie.
Is he?
But, well, he is communist, yeah. And even here's where it gets really hilarious. President Obama also said that the violence was inevitable, a result of what he described as a trend of lying and bullishness. And the Republicans go, really? That's like the pot calling the kettle black, no pun intended. Like, talk about lying, Obama. But now is when it gets Hillary-arious. Hillary-arious, because Hillary said, and I'm going to quote, you know, we will always have our differences, won't we? That's what happens in a democracy like ours. Yeah, like a fake democracy like ours. She says, but the ugly, divisive rhetoric we are hearing from Donald Trump and the encouragement of violence and aggression is wrong and it's dangerous. If you play with matches, you're going to start a fire you can't control. She ought to know. That's not leadership, that's political arson. And then she says, the test of leadership and citizenship is the opposite. If you see bigotry, oppose it. If you see violence, condemn it. And if you see a bully, stand up to him. Him, not her, because she's a bully. And let's remind Hillary about the murder of her opponents with her Bill and Clinton, like over 42 were listed over the years, okay. She did mention that. Or about her lies, about her emails about Benghazi and other things that she's lied about blatantly. So she's hilarious,
But the entrance is they're showing clear differences between the two candidates, which will divide the country.
No, and she lies. She lies because she said that Bernie Sanders never supported something of her, like a medical, and then there's a picture of him standing behind her during a 93-94 speech where he did support her. So she lied about that too.
Well, they all lie.
I mean, she lies about things where there's evidence that she's lying.
Right. They all do.
And then she condemns others.
They all do.
The scary thing is, no matter who wins, or let's say whoever's placed, this country is out.
Well, it's the same. I mean, they already know who's going to win. It's just a matter for us seeing it revealed.
Now, I have questions that the readers
We're going to do that at the end.
We're going to do it at the end, okay.
Because I had a couple that you rejected that I picked up.
I didn't reject any.
You did?
I did?
Yeah, I've got them.
Well, you can have them then.
I've got them. All right, let's go on with the election, because I have a lot of election-type stories. The first one is Marco Rubio, who made reference to Trump's small hands, and said that his hands were small, and if his hands were small, that meant other body parts were small.
Marco!
So then Trump
But
responded...
Marco was small.
You don't know what Marco looks like.
Yeah, he's a little tiny.
Well, what about the rest of him?
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
Well, this is what... So then Trump replied about his hands were not small, and therefore he guaranteed that his other parts were not small.
Ooh.
But this remember last week I reported on Hitler's small penis.
I can't sing that song, right?
So right away, which one?
About Hitler. It's from Bette Midler made it famous.
No, I think that you sang that last time.
Oh.
Or at least started it. Anyway, the point being is okay, they continue to bring up the reference between Trump and Hitler, regardless.
Yes.
And then, speaking of raising the right hand, which you had talked about, and lying, Trump said that he was asked, well, first of all, he was asked by today's host, what's her name, Savannah Guthrie, about what people are calling the Nazi salute. But he's saying no, he's just asking them to raise their right hand and solemnly swear to vote for him.
Like this.
No, like
this?
like the Nazi, yes. And that's what they're doing. He says she says that reminds him of the, several people writing, that reminds him of the Nazi salute. He says he dismissed that as ridiculous. And he said that when he goes to the rallies, people are asking, do the swear-in, do the swear-in. I mean, they're having such a great time. They're massive crowds. I get by far the biggest crowds. He says, honestly, until this phone call, I didn't know it was a problem. He's just, didn't know. So then he said, if there's anything offensive, I wouldn't do it. But they're screaming at me, we want to do it, and we're all having a lot of fun. So he says he'll look into it, but he doesn't want to offend anybody. Now there's a lie right there, because he loves to offend people, and he talks about it, that he doesn't matter what he says to who. Then
You're fired.
the Mexican president says that he won't pay for the Trump wall, and compares him to Hitler, as did the former Mexican presidents Felipe Calderon and Vicente Fox. They also compared Trump to Hitler.
Because Mexico is something to be proud of.
He said, the current president said that he'd likened Donald Trump's strident tone, that's a quote, to the ascent of dictators like Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. So anyway, he goes on to say how that they're not going to support building the wall, and he said that because of the populism of the Trump campaign, he said that it's very easy, simple solutions that Trump is saying, but it's not that easy. He said that's how Mussolini got in, that's how Hitler got in. They took advantage of a situation, a problem perhaps, which humanity was going through at the time after an economic crisis. So again, no matter where we go, we've got the comparison of Trump and Hitler. And then George Stephanopoulos,
I like that name, Stephanopoulos.
yeah, a Good Morning anchor,
Sounds like a Sesame Street character. Stephanopoulos.
When he talked to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said he had not heard of the comparisons between himself and Hitler, but they had him on tape back in December talking about this. So, as I said, they all lie. They all say things.
Lie.
And do other things. And then about the incident in Chicago. About Trump, he said he blamed the organized thugs for the clashes.
Communists.
Yeah, that made him call off this rally.
No, Hitler used to blame the communists too.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. These are all these things.
And those are my peeps.
Communist?
Well,
I don't know that I'd be so proud of that. But anyway.
I am who I am.
That's right. The point is, too, which I was thinking about this, is, people go with what they recognize. And because they're always putting Trump, Hitler, even if it's a negative, people will go with what they recognize and they know. So anyway, Marco Rubio, now this was interesting. He had a 13-minute diatribe about Trump. Now, why 13 minutes? There's that number. So I thought that was interesting. And he went on to criticize the media for promoting Trump, which I thought that was interesting. And he said that there were third world images were the result of Trump's own words, because he himself, Trump, will say, to throw this person out if that they're, he has mused about punching protesters in the face. He said he'd pay the legal bills of his fans if they assaulted anyone trying to throw tomatoes at him. So
I know he said that.
He said a lot of things. And the other thing that was interesting is they also have videos of him saying that, all these people using foul language, but then they showed Trump using foul language.
I'm thinking, remember just not long ago, they released Mein Kampf.
Yes.
Again, and then all this happened.
And then Rubio continues that Trump says he doesn't condone the violence, but the next day in St. Louis, then the candidate, Trump, repeatedly complained about how gentle his protesters were being treated. So he said he understands the reason why they're voting for people because Trump has tapped into the anger of the people.
Yes, that's right.
The problem is leadership has never been about taking people's anger and using it to get them to vote for you. If it is, it's a dangerous style of leadership.
Come on. They always have done that.
Well, but he's getting people riled up, like you're fired type of thing. That's what he's getting people. He's really getting their anger up. Rubio says that he believes Trump is going to shatter and fracture the Republican Party and the conservative movement. He said, "You cannot just say whatever you want. We are going backwards. It's frightening and disturbing development in American politics." He's encouraging people in his audience to rough up people with comments that he doesn't like. And then he gets media coverage for his offensive statements. He says that this is what happens when a culture in society says whatever the heck they want. That he says we're careening toward chaos and anarchy.
You're already there.
And he says we should settle our differences at the ballot box, but Trump is encouraging anger and violence.
But we know the ballot box is fake.
And he's feeding into a narrative of bitterness and anger and frustration. And what does this say about the future of America?
There isn't one.
That's the interesting thing to me, is that now we are being told, like you said, behind the scenes, this has always happened, but now they're really getting people riled up. They're tapping into that animal mind, they're tapping into the anger, and they're getting those people all roiled up. And then we look at Hillary, who said, no, let's not use violence.
Oh, she is just a...
Well, they're both cousins, which we've talked about before on the podcast. They're cousins. They know each other well, and they're both just playing different sides of the fence to get different sides of the audience going. And then there was
everybody's cousins.
Of course, that's what they do online. Or, in the higher political circles, they're all related. Anyway, and then there was a fellow, and I'm not going to go into this, but he wrote an article, which the link will be posted, called "Why Ted Cruz Scares Me More Than Donald Trump."
That's because he has that melted plastic face. That's scary.
He's comparing then Ted Cruz to Hitler. And on top of that, Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
Yeah.
So anyways, why is he in there? So there's a lot of, again, the citizenship
so then how could he even run?
Oh, and then also, what's his name? Rubio talks about Obama dividing the people among class warfare.
Rubio is a Cubano.
Yeah, but anyways, all interesting what's going on out there, because it really is getting people riled up. And then do you remember, with switching topics here, do you remember the A320 jet that they say the pilot deliberately crashed into the French Alps, killing all 149 people on board?
Was a lie. That was a lie.
About a year ago. Well, anyway, he's back in the news, and they said that he was only 27 years old. He sent an email to his doctor 2 weeks before the crash, claiming that he was suffering from depression, loss of vision, and feared he was going to lose his job.
Isn't that funny how it comes out a year later?
Yes. He said he's afraid he's going blind. He can't get the possibility out of his head. Now listen to this. According to this email, he claims he was on the highest dose of mirtazapine.
You watch your language.
Which is an antidepressant, which is used as a drug to induce sleep. And anyway, it claims that he had sick notes, and the 5 years before the crash, he consulted 41 different doctors.
Now, then he wouldn't be flying.
That's my point. Because, again, to me, this is a lie, otherwise they wouldn't say it.
Crap.
Yep. But again, a year later, they always bring things out a year later because they keep this alive in your mind. Mm-hmm. And I have the same story, but a little different, about the simulation in the Pacific Northwest of a decimating Mega-Quake caused by the Cascadia fault line. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. It said it could be a magnitude 9.
That's a big one.
Excuse me.
So you're getting all upset about it because that's your homeland.
That's my home.
Yeah.
So I have to have a drink of water.
Mm-hmm. You know that there's really vodka in there.
And we won't tell them that.
I just did.
They didn't hear you. It's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
We can't tell them our secrets.
You should really stop smoking. It's making your throat dry.
Anyway, it says upwards of 14,000 people would be left dead with 30,000 injured.
No, add a few zeros to that number.
Yeah, if something like that happens. And back to deliberate things, because, okay, we talked about the plane crash. And then I told you about the Viola Beach incident in Sweden where the band was killed.
The British
band was killed when their car went into the canal. Mm-hmm. Now, the Swedish police said it looks as if the driver acted deliberately. Same thing as with this air crash thing. Now, the father's very upset because he said, of course, that wouldn't happen. It reminds me of what happened with Princess Diana's car that was crashed into the pillars. Mm-hmm. It could they can take control of your vehicle, they can crash it when they want, and they can sacrifice you. So that's back in the news. Now this was interesting to me because I didn't know about
But
this.
why would they want to kill them? Who was
Some
that?
kind of a sacrifice. That's all we know. That was called the Viola Beach Band. So we have to look at the symbolism to find out why and what happened, before or after, who these people were. You have to go into it. So, it's a big story if you wanted to make it that. But the point is, I think their car had somebody take control over it, and that was the end of them. Now, this was interesting to me because I had never heard this before, but a mother bought a toy for the child and saw on it was a heart within a heart. Apparently, that is a heart inside a heart is a pedophilia secret symbol.
It is.
And that was confirmed
From what?
by the Bivona Child Advocacy Center. So they were selling these trucks. So apparently, like if one pedophile recognizes another one or sends symbols to their victims.
Uh-huh.
So the reason I'm telling you this is because I didn't know that.
I thought a teddy bear was a sign of that.
Maybe it is too, but this, according to this Child Advocacy Center, they confirm a heart within a heart means pedophilia.
Oh,
So-
that's something new.
That's something new to me, but anyway, they said to the culture it's not. So for you mothers out there, or anybody with children, or even yourself, I guess you don't want to use this symbol because people either think you are or your children are available. So it's kind of like
I see.
a warning, I guess. And then I've kind of talked about swans before because swans are property of the Queen, of England, which most people don't realize that. So there was a traveler, a woman from Bulgaria, who apparently pulled a swan out of a lake by its neck to take a picture with it in Macedonia.
Oh.
So she got the picture apparently, but then the swan died.
Well, did she pull it out by its neck?
Yeah, she pulled it out by its
Well,
neck.
that was brilliant.
But
That's why there's no swans in Bulgaria.
no, Macedonia.
Well, she's from
Oh,
Bulgaria.
so you think they did
To
it?
kill all the swans there, she had to go to Macedonia.
I guess so. So then, it said last month, tourists at a Chinese zoo, and I had read about this, killed 2 peacocks while trying to snap a photo of
Well,
that.
Chinese do that. They kill everything.
And then a baby dolphin in Argentina died after the beachgoers dragged it ashore
Yeah,
for pictures.
That was stupid.
So anyway, this is also very strange to me. And I had also reported some time ago about a man who was fined and killed for eating one of the Queen's swan because he claimed he didn't know what the swan was. He just wanted to see what it tasted like because it is illegal to eat or kill a swan because they belong to the Queen. So remember that.
She's
So,
not amused.
What do you think a
You
swan?
shall not eat my swan.
What does a swan symbolize? Do you think that the Queen?
Death, the swan song.
So only she can eat that one. If she eats the swan,
Off
I guess
with its head.
everybody's dead. And speaking of dolphins, now this is a story that's been circulating around the internet quite a bit about sea gypsy children, a semi-nomadic tribe off the west coast of Thailand from the Moken tribe. And apparently the children have underwater vision, which is twice as good as European children. My point with this is they're saying sea gypsy children who see like dolphins. So to me, they're bringing up this hybridization. That perhaps they're going to be revealing about underwater people or something about the dolphins or hybrids or aliens or whatever. But, they keep bringing up these hybrid animals and now they're talking kind of about hybrid children. So, and even autistic children, which we talk about being on dolphin frequency. So, watch for more of that. And then, of course, the infamous Guantanamo Bay. We hear about that all the time. Now they're saying that conspiracy theorists claim that there's a massive underwater UFO base there.
Oh,
And that's why the base was there.
well, that makes sense.
And that the military personnel saw these things virtually every night.
Wow.
So, and of course, I always tell you about all the clone experiments that are going on. Well, recently scientists grew a dinosaur leg on a chicken.
What?
in a bizarre reverse evolution experiment, they
That's
said.
freaky.
And I told you about the when they found those Ice Age
Oh, but it
lion
wasn't like
cubs.
a brontosaurus, like a poor chicken would be able to move.
I know, but anyway, that's what scientists do, as you know, and more hybridization, combining
Well, that
two
would make
things
some
together.
nice fried chicken.
That
Though.
would be a big fried chicken. We could have a big party with one leg.
Yes, who would like some dinosaur chicken? Oh, yes, we do.
So anyway, I did tell you about the Ice Age cubs, lion cubs, that were found virtually intact in Siberia. Now, which I predicted, quote unquote.
You predicted.
Because they were in near perfect condition. They're going to save one for a museum and clone the other one.
Oh, of course.
So, which I had already said
I
was
want
going to
one. I
happen.
want one.
And then they found a fossilized lizard in Asia which
How
was
unusual for
yeah,
Asia.
preserved in amber. And they said that this is 75 millions older than the previous record. And guess what they're going to do with that?
Clone it.
They're going to try. They said that it's kind of a missing link. And they also have in amber, besides the lizard, they have a gecko and an Arctic lizard.
Oh, all in amber?
All in amber, so they're going to
Wow.
be able to clone that. And they said the discovery will help researchers.
I have amber. Look at what's in here.
Okay, if it's good amber, you can see through it and you can see the animal.
I have hidden
You have hidden amber. Says the discovery will help researchers learn more about the lost ecosystem, the lost world, that reminds me of Jurassic Park, to which the creatures belonged, and it may help researchers learn more about the creatures' modern relatives.
So that means they've already done it with maybe a lot of creatures.
Probably.
And there's like this whole Jurassic island somewhere.
Yeah, that would not surprise me. And then, now, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of Madonna lately, dressed as a clown.
Yeah.
Okay, remember the
Madonna
song?
needs some help.
Tears of a Clown. Well, I thought this was very interesting because this is a breakdown over supposedly because her son
Rocco.
preferred her ex-husband. And so now she's dressing this way. And you know, a lot of people think she's gone nuts, but really remember,
Think?
no, this is part of her act because she's a programmed person.
No, but she's nuts.
But well, they all have to be in order to do what they're doing, and the programming is, of course, going to take effect. And the other thing you have to remember, too, is, you know, her age. She's in her 50s now. So oftentimes when they get to that age, look at Michael Jackson, you know, and they decide they've had enough of them, then they set them up to, quote-unquote, commit suicide, and then that's the end of them. And, of course, Madonna, here we are going into the New World religion.
Yeah, Madonna.
And, of course, that's not her real name anyway.
No.
But that's what they use. So, you know, wouldn't she be the perfect sacrifice at some point? So
Not Madonna.
my feeling is that it's possible that her days are limited. So
Uh-oh.
watch the Madonna drama, so to
yes.
speak. And speaking of women in the news, Erdogan's wife declared that the Sultan's...
From Turkey.
What did I say?
You just said Erdogan. No,
Oh, yeah.
You know who he
Yeah.
is.
From Turkey. Her name is Amin.
Is she?
I don't know.
Is she
Anyway,
Amin?
she might be because she said that the Sultan's harems were an educational center that prepared women for life.
Yeah, as slaves.
And that they were inspirational educational establishments, places from where they organized their charity work.
Yeah, they were educational for abuse and rape and torture.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
They were servants. They were actually often stolen from their families.
Yeah, I went to the harem compounds
I
in
remember.
Istanbul years ago, and I learned what was going on there.
Yeah. So anyway, this is now what they're saying about women. And of course, he had said just a few days ago, Erdogan himself, that he thinks a woman's main role is as a mother.
Of course, he would say that.
Yeah, after, I guess...
He's very modern.
And not only
Very.
that, but you have to breed a lot of males for your army, and you have to breed the females to go into the harems. Maybe they're going to try and bring the harems back, for all we know. And now then, in South Sudan, now this is, again, women's things that are going on. South Sudan's government actually allows their soldiers to rape women as payment for serving in the army.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I predict South Sudan will be a major country one day.
Yeah, and the UN is now saying rapes and gang rapes described in the report are only a snapshot. So South Sudan is going to be more in the news, apparently.
Yeah, brilliant people.
And again, this naked thing is continuing to grow. I don't know if you saw those pictures of Kim Kardashian showing herself.
You know what? I'm not a fan.
Yeah, and then there was Ozzy Oswald's wife, whatever her name was. She was on there doing it. And now the
Not
women are,
her.
yeah, now they're all doing it. They're
Oh,
all
my.
saying, you know. And so here's
Rather
a
be blind.
listen to this. This woman is called a mummy blogger.
What's
Because
that?
she's from Australia, where they call their mothers mum or mummy instead of
That's
mom
because
or
they're all
mummy.
wrapped up in their children.
So this woman, Constance Hall. Now listen to this. She has 488,000 followers on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
This post I'm going to tell you about is like 28,000 times.
What did she do?
She says that she advocates nakedness around your children, your homes, and your husbands. Now, to me, again,
Well,
it's not just it's impractical to walk around your house naked. You stick to things, you run into things, you can cut yourself up. So the practicality, first of all, that's
and
bad.
especially like when the delivery man
Oh, I was just
comes.
going to say that when the postman brings you a package and there you are. But anyway, she says that this was going
I
to teach
sometimes scare
them
them when I open the
to
door.
appreciate body. Now, my feeling is a little different, and I read about this, not that it makes it true, but I was reading about this when I had my children. It said, once your children are old enough to kind of recognize, it's not really fair because a female's body can stimulate a male's body. And to me, and we've talked about incest last time, this is a precursor to incest in my opinion. So I may be right and I may be wrong, but that's my feeling about it.
You may be right.
So anyway, you want to take a look at what they're doing and why. But 488,000 followers. I wish we had 488,000
That's a lot of sick
followers.
people out there.
Well, that's what she got because they get to likings like
But
Miley
you said
Cyrus.
she's in Australia.
Yeah.
It's very hot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Anyway, then
She should at least have a kangaroo tail wrapped around her.
well, she needs a lot more than that wrapped around her. Now listen to this one. A woman brings traffic on Houston Highway to a
Oh
standstill.
my God, I saw that one.
She danced for 2 hours naked
Did
on
you
the
see
roof.
what she looked like?
She was huge.
Oh my.
Naked on the roof of an 18-wheel
Everything's
big
big
wave.
in Texas.
She said she crashed it. Then she started undressing on the road. Then she climbed on top. That's a
Yes.
hike when you're naked.
Yeah, especially when you're that size.
Anyway, then eventually they got her, I guess, and they handcuffed her and took her into custody.
Oh
now, we
my.
have talked a lot before about people committing crimes. And one of the first things they do, and to me this is a sign of a programmed person, is when they start taking their clothes off. They take the clothes off, they go in and they rob a store or something. It's like, okay, this doesn't make sense because you're going to hurt yourself some way along the way. But this nakedness thing, which I've told you is going to be more and more public, it's evidenced here. Everybody's doing it, and that's going to be natural. So if you want to be clothed, they're going to say, what's wrong with you? Right?
So let's take our clothes. Let's do our next podcast naked.
Go for it.
But you have to agree
No.
also.
You can go for it.
We have to both do it.
I don't want to be cold.
Send in your votes, people.
I don't want to get hurt.
I'm not going to hurt you.
No, but if I bump into something,
Think
I'll
how many.
hurt myself.
Think how many likes we'll get.
We might not. We might not. Well, they might unlike us if that happens.
I don't know.
Remember, we are senior citizens now.
No, you are.
Well, you're only a few months away.
Well,
And
but I
you
look
were
so much
you were
younger.
telling me the other day that sometimes 55 is considered. Sometimes 50 is.
In some countries, they die at 35.
So you're really old.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're senior citizens. It would not be pretty for them.
Give them a lesson about life.
Yeah, that's what this woman wants. Maybe we should go on her
Teach
blog.
them about gravity.
Yeah, maybe we should go on her blog. Anyway, then there's a punk rocker who was declared insane for decapitating his Russian girlfriend.
Punk rocker and insane in the same sentence.
He decapitated
They kind
his...
of cancel each other
Listen
out.
to this. His Russian girlfriend, because remember now everybody's into, headlessness, and they want to point, you don't have anything up here. Remember Donald Trump, turned the lights off, nobody home. Here we go again. He decapitated his Russian girlfriend, and he put on one of her dresses, and then he had sex with her head.
Talk about getting head.
It's awful. I don't think that was appropriate.
Well, I'm just saying.
Instead of being prosecuted for her murder, he was declared insane.
You think.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get into some of the deeper topics, and this I found actually very interesting.
What?
This is a man with a 10-pound penis. That's the size of a small cat.
They weighed it?
Apparently. Listen to this. He has silicone boots. And that's
so it wasn't natural.
It wasn't natural. He says it's 9 inches long and it's 5.5 inches wide.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have pictures of him. So I want you people to go
Where
look
did you
this out.
find this? Where did you find
None of
this?
your business.
No, I'm going to monitor you.
Anyway.
I'm going to put a restriction on your computer.
He has pictures of him in his clothes, and he says that sometimes it's difficult to find clothes to fit him.
Oh, you think?
But
Look, I just have to ask one question.
Yeah.
Is that when it's...
no, just normal.
Oh.
That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's got this thing on the front of him that holds it.
And he wants that.
Yeah, he said he makes him feel great.
Ah.
And remember, I also talked about that guy who had the longest one. They showed pictures of that one.
What is this, like penis.com? Where are you going?
So this is my point. I'm going to tell you where I'm going with this, because this is exactly what they did with women.
They had women with big 10-pound penises?
They started off with women feeling ashamed of their bodies because their breasts weren't big enough. So they started with breast implants, right?
Yes, uh-huh.
And then they also, redo all the other parts of their body.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got to get the men. So now they're getting the men to show the men that they're not manly enough because their parts aren't big enough.
Dragging something on the floor behind them.
Yeah, I'm just telling you this. They're making this stuff normal. They're making this weird stuff normal. It's like, okay, you were born with a body. God gave it to you. Your mind pattern built it. Just accept the fact and work on your mind and don't go get all this stuff. But this is, I swear to you, next thing, this is what's going to be normal for men.
10-pound penises?
Well, because then that'll be good for their phallic stuff.
You can't even do anything with that.
How do you know?
Because it's not possible.
How would you know?
Because I
Tell
know.
us more.
Unless you have to widen the female part.
Is that right? Well, I'm just telling you, there'll be fertility rights.
Please write in your comments about that and show us your parts.
So anyway, I just found that was very interesting because it's telling you where things are going. Now, I'm going to go just a
You
little,
got more?
a little off topic, but I have reported on this before, and this all encompasses this New World religion, all this stuff. That I told you, I don't remember, I say it was in the last year, about a man in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
That was a young man dead, shot dead, and his parents put him in his favorite clothes and his favorite pose, and that's how they had their funeral. And this is legal in Puerto Rico. Now there's another one that just happened on March 3rd. In fact, I thought it was the same guy, but it wasn't. This was also a young man.
He got killed again.
26. He was, that's an 8, which is an oversoul number. Death as well, if you want to look at it that way sometimes. He was shot dead outside his home, so again they propped him up. This time they left his eyes open as a surprise to his family.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
So again, here we have
That's
more
sick. That's sick people.
very disrespectful of those who have passed on, but this is going to be part of the New World religion, so they're just putting it out there.
That's creepy.
Okay, so now I have questions from the readers that you rejected.
I didn't reject
You
anything.
did.
You
So
just didn't give them to me.
No, I did. You said it was nonsense and stupid. Does that sound like you?
Now, when that reader hears the question, they're going to
Yeah.
think I thought they were stupid.
Yes, that's what you said. Because I'll tell you why. Because she wrote a big long thing before she put the questions in. And the big long thing.
People don't write big long
don't write
things.
big long things because we don't
No,
have
the
time
only
to read
big
all
long
of that.
thing is their 10-pound penis.
Yeah, now he wants a picture of it if you've got one.
Yes,
We
I would like to
promise
see
you
if
we'll
you
show
have
it
one.
here, yeah.
I would like to see what that looks like, a 10-pound one, yeah.
No, you can go on this because we have the link posted for this one.
But
You
if
can do your
if you write in
questions
a
first.
question, people, write a question,
Right.
not your life story. I don't want to hear what your dog ate for breakfast.
Right.
Just the question.
Right, because if you do, then he's going to reject it, and I may or may not pick it up.
So, Mr. Richard Fader of Fort Lee, New
Did he
Jersey,
say you could
writes
say
in.
his name?
I'm making believe I'm Rosanna Dana.
Okay, well, don't
Of course,
say
you
the
have
name.
no culture whatsoever.
Don't say the name unless
There is a made-up name.
it is. Are you sure?
You ever see Mr. Rosanna Dana? Mr. Richard Fader, Fort Lee, writes in, why do they call New Jersey the Garden State? Why do they grow there? Weeds?
No.
Yeah.
But now we have to be careful when you use the word weed because now it means something else.
Anyway, we all know what New Jersey is anyway.
Do we?
Yeah, they do grow
It's
weeds.
the Garden State.
Yeah, that's like, what kind of garden? I've never seen a garden in New Jersey, just weeds and factories.
No, they have a road called the Garden State Parkway, don't
Yeah,
they?
it goes through factories
Yeah.
and trash and crap.
Yeah, and it's made of concrete. It's not a garden.
Yeah, Garden State, that's why, anyway.
Yeah, they should have it
So
made of a
this
garden.
person,
Dirt or something
this
with
person
flowers
writes, I
planted
am
alongside.
speaking.
Yeah, but mine's more interesting because they want to hear about New Jersey. But go ahead.
See, if you were naked, you wouldn't be doing this.
If you were naked, you'd be cold by now.
No, I like cold.
You do?
Yeah.
Go get your clothes off. That's what everybody else does.
Vote, people.
And then we're going to have a black strip across here so
No,
we can't see your breasts.
you will see all. You will
You're
see
going to
all.
show them your breasts?
I show everything. I show everything.
It's not allowed.
I don't care. Anyway, this person writes in, I would like to hear more about the 13 signs of the zodiac. What does the sign tell us, and why don't they want us to know about it? Well, I've only written about this 1,000,000 times. The sign is called Ophiuchus, and it is supposed to be between Sagittarius and Scorpio. And I have stated many, many times, 13 is the normal sign of the astrology, because there should be 13 signs of exactly 14 weeks to add up for the whole year. And they don't want you to know about it because 13 is a very powerful number.
That's why they call it an unlucky number to confuse you.
And if you knew about the real deal with astrology, you would be more powerful, and that's why they took it out. And if you want to know about it, study ancient Egyptian, Chaldean, Sumerian, and Hebrew astrology.
Or you could also become a member on our site, only $17 a month. You can search our thousands and thousands of pages of archives and find this out for yourself.
Now, this is a very confusing question, and so is the person's name. It says, hello, my name is PG. Pineal gland.
That's a good name.
They're from the pineal gland. So they want to ask this. If and when disclosure happens, how will they disclose it? When will it happen? Will they let it all out in a big seminar across the world? Will they tell us about the real world and how the whole world is manipulated? Will they tell us about the truth?
I don't think
Person. I said a question.
And we have this all in our videos.
It's all in our video, and that's what I said. The truth. You really think they're going to tell you the truth? No. It's going to be all lies. Connect the Book of Revelation. Read Blue Blood, True Blood, and True World History. It's all in there. And yes, we already are preparing for the staged alien invasion.
And we have the prophecy webinar on our website, which also talks a lot about this.
Now, this next person sent me this. I don't know if you could see that. It's the cover of, what is it?
The Economist.
Magazine for 2016, and it has all the world leaders. And if you notice, little man in a spaceship here, but he's not really in the spaceship because he has legs sticking at the bottom of it. And I also noticed here we have the Olympic rings. We have someone reading a book with eyes through it. Yes, there's a lot of symbolism here, and there was another look at the sun up there. So yes, people, basically what this is saying is that there will be a staged alien invasion. All the world leaders will be involved in it. But if you notice, they have all the world leaders except one. Who's missing? Israel's Netanyahu.
Where is he? Maybe he's the guy reading the book with his eyes shining.
Maybe he is. But, you know, Israel will figure prominently in the staged alien invasion in New World Religion because it'll be centered a lot around Jerusalem. And in fact, if you remember, in the 1980s, those of you who are old enough, the television movie and series V, this big UFO hanging right over Jerusalem.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you want my couple of questions?
I don't, but go ahead.
Okay, this was hidden in this big long diatribe. So, anyway, first person wanted to know about using spirit guides in healing.
Ooh, because we talk about that a lot.
Yeah. So that's what we want to tell you. You don't go to spirit guides for healing. You go.
Do you read our work, people?
You must do self, oversoul, God, mind. You are the only one who can heal you. Nobody can heal you but you. And if somebody tells you they can heal you, they're stealing your money and it's fraud. So you need to go directly to your source for whatever it is you need, and that's where your true healing comes from.
And it does help to have a 10-pound penis, doesn't it?
Well, I certainly wouldn't know.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, surprise. Anyway, and then this person wants to know the danger of astral guidance. Now, I have a big article on my public side.
It's in my work.
I have a huge article dedicated just to what is the astral. The astral is where the global handlers hide a lot of their stuff.
That's where their gods are located.
To
Lower
manipulate
astral.
you. Yes. So I have a whole article that you need to read on the public side, and I'll put a link here, which I didn't do.
And you know where the astral entities live?
Where?
Australia.
Yeah, because it's very astral.
It is. Hence its name.
Yeah. So there's a lot of underground stuff going on. So no, you don't want to go into the astral guidance. That was a whole New Age thing, and we're not New Age. So
we're old age.
Yeah, apparently.
And yes, I was recently called a very good-looking older man.
Yeah, be sure you let them know that.
Well,
yeah,
it disturbed me.
Yeah, we know that. That's why you won't quit talking about it. But anyway,
I'm traumatized by it.
I know that. So the astral.
Hence, I will be naked next time to show I am not such an older man.
And I will hold the black line across his breast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to hold my 10-pound. Never mind.
I know. I'm going to hold the black line across his breast so that he's not totally topless.
Actually, the 10-pound story was about me. I don't know why you revealed that to everyone. But go ahead, you have more questions.
No, I was finishing this question. But now, what was I going to say about the astral?
Because you're thinking about my 10-pound.
Mouth. The New Age was devised as a plan by the NSA to entrap your mind. And if you're still in the New Age and doing New Age stuff, then your mind is still entrapped. You're in a box. So get out.
Remember the New Agers in the movie Independence Day?
Well, tell them if I don't even know.
When the UFO is up there over the building and they're all on the road saying, "Thank you, space brothers, let us in, rapture us," and they open the door, the light comes out, and they're all cheering. They're going to be raptured, and then the first one's blown away.
Yeah. So don't be New Age. If you're New Age, you need our stuff. Expansions.com. Join our membership, like our Facebook page, but. Anyway, that's the end of that story.
That's it?
That's the end.
Oh, you have no more questions?
Well, these were your primary rejected ones that I felt needed answering.
Do you see why I may not have wanted to discuss them?
That's why I picked them up for both reasons, so people could understand that.
So you like basically go through my trash and pick out things. That's
No,
what
I
you're
went through it before I
basically
gave it to
saying.
you, and then you gave it back, so that's why I took it. Because I wanted this person to know, because it's very important, this New Age stuff is crap, and we are not New Age. We will teach you how to look through the New Age and get into true spirituality, into your source, and empower you, not spirit guides and astral crap. Okay? So, with that said, and clear up your life by joining me on my trip to Italy in June. Clear health, clear energy, clear your path, clear your mind, reach your power peaks up in the Cotian Alps. Amazing, amazing trip, and extremely good price.
And you don't have to bring clothes because it's all new, right?
404 euros. You get all your, you get your night's stay, you get your breakfast, you get 2 picnic lunches, and all your dinners. There's only a couple of meals you have to buy yourself. So 404 euros just for that portion of it. So we're still getting the price of the van, and there are a couple other things you'll find on our site. Contact customer support at expansions.com, or go on the site and look it up, the Clear Health Tour. So clear water, clear your mind. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing place.
And webinars?
Webinars. My self-healing ongoing webinars is still going. That's amazing. People are doing great work. We're doing specifically over soul communication. They're getting it, and they're doing extremely well. And I have my fasting webinar coming up.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, I know. You're always disappointed when you miss that. But
Yeah.
that is in preparation for the June. Whether you're going with me or not, you can still clear your body and clear your mind. And, of course, my current blog is Food Doesn't Make You Fat.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Now what makes you fat?
They have to read the blog to find out. It's a secret. I'm revealing many, many secrets.
Okay.
Many health secrets. Okay?
Are you going to reveal anything else?
Only you, and I'm going to get that black bar ready.
I don't need a black bar.
Yeah, you do, because...
You know why? It won't
because-
fit.
Oh, across your breast, yeah. Okay. That said, we will see you again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.